think I only had one bad meal in LA.
What was it?
Was it the Italian?
Shame them.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude, do you remember this?
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
How can I fucking forget this?
I think on like the third day or something that we all arrived together. We wanted to go to one Italian, but it was like a Saturday.
It was Boca de Beppo?
We were originally going to go to Boca de Beppo because I fucking love it. But
yeah,
as Gon was saying, it was a weekend, so we were like, Boca de Beppo is probably going to be really fucking crowded, so let's find one on the way. And then we found this one Italian place. I don't even remember the name.
It was like family owned, and we thought, oh, that'd be good. Support a local business.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And
maybe we shouldn't have.
And now I regret supporting local business.
And I forgot like the one golden rule of like how to judge a restaurant, which is if it's peak time on Saturday and you go in and it's almost empty, that's a big red flag.
Also to do with this restaurant, I had been told this, and I come from Japan, right? If a restaurant has 4 stars on Google, it must be good.
Yeah,
fucking good.
Exactly.
Apparently, in America, if it's not higher than 4.5, it's dog shit, is what I've been told.
Really?
That's what I was told.
Is it the 4.5?
4.5 is apparently the like, if it's higher than that, it's you know it's good.
Right.
Maybe Americans are just nicer.
Do people just rate in America 4 stars if the food is edible?
I don't know. So do you remember when we got there? Like we got absolutely scammed right away.
Oh yeah.
Right? So
yeah.
Right?
Oh, it's all coming back.
So we pull up into this restaurant, right? And there's clear parking spots, right? Yeah. So and there's valet though. There's valet parking.
Right.
No one is here. No one is in this restaurant.
There's maybe like 2 cars.
We should have turned back at this point, honestly.
Yeah.
So we go to start parking our car. And this guy comes over and he knocks on the window. He's like, "Oh, valet service, $8." And we I think we misunderstood that we thought that he was like, "Oh, you have to pay it."
Right.
But I think it was you offering it.
Yeah.
So we were like, "Oh, okay." So then we get out the car, hand him the $8, and he literally just continues backing it up into the spot. And then gets out and is like, all right, there you go.
He was probably in the car for about
10 seconds. 10 seconds
like
tops.
10 seconds tops.
That man got the biggest conversion of time to payment in known history. It's like those memes of like Bill Gates when he drops $100 on the floor. It's like, it was literally, the car was basically parked. And then he just went, doop. Yeah. That's it. And I couldn't believe this man took our money. I couldn't believe he was still willing to take the money.
$8 for that.
I'm like, only in the US. I'm like, if this happened in the UK, fists would be thrown. Yeah. If you tried to get the $8 off of me, it just wouldn't work. And that's why we don't have valet parking in the UK.
But that wasn't the only thing about this Italian restaurant.
But that set the tone.
Yeah, that definitely set the tone.
It was all like,
that was a red flag.
I think all of us were just like, we all stood there and we were just like, we just got robbed.
Yeah.
We this is like daylight robbery.
I can't believe he's done this.
I can't believe you've done this.
Yeah.
So yeah, we immediately go into this restaurant after losing $8.
Yeah.
And then afterwards we go in. It looks like a pretty decent restaurant. And so,
sorry, no. Can I say something?
Yeah.
Can I interrupt you? Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't like it when restaurants do this, and this is just for me preference. I understand that other people don't care. If I'm in an Italian restaurant and you're trying to like set an ambiance, don't fucking play an MLB game in the corner on a giant monitor. Like, I'm sorry. To me, it's like, that's not... The Italian vibes are ruined. But there was just like 2 giant sports games and they were just playing the audio and I'm like...
Also, there was a very American-looking bar in the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. I don't care about the bar being in the middle.
Right.
I just... It's like,
But
are you trying to set a mood?
I think it's the bar in combination with the MLB on the screen that just made it very non-Italian.
Yeah, it was like 2 giant, like 50 inches on the wall, blasting this audio, and you're just like eating your thing, and you say, and that's a strike, and that's a one. Thank you, Adrian. And it's just like, this is just like, what? Am I crazy? Like, is this weird? This is weird, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I get you. Because I don't like that in restaurants either, where they play a game or something like that. Okay, yeah, at a bar. Okay, I get it.
It's a bar. Like,
There's a time and a place.
It's a bar. It's a bar. This was a restaurant. You know, I would prefer to just have some music and just have that set.
And if you went on a date there, you would look bad. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
the ambiance would already make it look, you're in a rough spot. This food better fucking make up for it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, everyone ordered their food, and of course, I was like, I gotta try the lasagna. All right, because I think that's my default thing I order at every Italian restaurant. That's how I gauge how good the rest of the Italian food is, right? Because you'd have to like try. An Italian would have to try really hard to fuck up a lasagna.
Sure.
Because there are way more like complicated dishes in the Italian cuisine. So I always ordered lasagna. And then
I will say the guy did look a bit panicked when you ordered the lasagna. He was like, okay.
He's like, oh, that one? Oh.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, you're ordering that one?" I was like, "It's been a while since I've had lasagna," and of course, it comes out, and
It's probably been an order. Probably been a while since they ordered it.
Yeah, it comes out, and I'm just like, "Oh, that looks a little soggy. that looks like a little bit of a soggy lasagna."
So it was something like what, $20 something?
Yeah, it's like 28.
Like this, but it wasn't like a giant piece either. It
No,
was like
no.
normal size.
It was like a 28. But all the dishes in that restaurant were about like
Yeah, they were all at least $20.
$28.
It's quite a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. And I put my fork into it, and it just fucking this pasta just disintegrates, right? This thing wasn't made out of pasta; it was made out of air, and I'm like, I've never seen pasta so soft in my life.
Yeah.
And I take like my first bite, and you know when you can immediately tell that you're just gonna have like the worst meal of your life.
Yeah.
So
God looks so disappointing.
Yeah.
everyone was like staring at me because they were so excited because like, oh, go on, order lasagna. Let's see what he thinks about
Yeah.
it. I take one spoonful. I think my face conveyed everything that needed to be
I
conveyed.
wish I had taken a photo of the face that you had made, because it was like, if you looked up disappointment in the dictionary, that was the face that would have popped up.
Because the first bite, first of all, the pasta was soggy. All of it was soggy.
Yeah.
It somehow, even though the lasagna was like full of tomato sauce, somehow they've made tomato taste of nothing. Like, I don't know how you make tomato taste of nothing, because it
was cold on the inside, right, as well.
and it was so obviously microwaved as
Yeah.
well, because the outside was super hot, but then the inside was lukewarm, and I was just like, this is.
Yeah, to the restaurant's credit, my dish was actually pretty decent. I think I ordered like a lamb pasta. It was pretty good, actually.
Yeah,
You
I
could tell it was
had
fresh.
like a gnocchi, I think, which was like, it wasn't the best gnocchi I've had, but it was decent.
I know you said you get lasagna to see if the restaurant's good.
Yeah.
I feel in my mind, if I get the calamari, that's how I can normally tell. Because the calamari is one of those dishes where it's really easy to buy it frozen.
Yeah.
And just just chuck it in the fucking deep fryer
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
call it a day. But like if they actually care, you can tell that it's fresh and it's not fucking rubbery. And then you know everything else could be good. Because that's a very specific thing that you'd have to go out of your way to make sure it's fresh.
That's true. That's true.
But no, it was bad.
I mean, like one
It wasn't worth the money. It was just
Yeah.
too expensive. It was so expensive.
It was definitely, I mean, the gnocchi was like decent, but I would not pay the amount I paid for
Yeah.
it again. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like one of my biggest pet peeves when I go to a restaurant is that I like, as someone who grew up in like the whole restaurateur kind of like area, if you can't make a good dish, don't put it on the menu. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, there are some restaurants I go to where they give you the menu and it's just the entire history of your country's cuisine. I'm like, there is no fucking way you can cook all of these dishes at like a good kind of standard.
No, you can't.
It's
Like
literally
200 items on the menu. It's like, are you sure? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I get it. If there's that one guy who comes to your fucking restaurant and he's just like, oh, why don't you have this dish that everyone else has? You know, I'm just like, you know, fuck that shit. You know, just serve good. Just serve the dishes that you know you can cook really, really well.
5 to 10 items, I feel, is like, a good middle ground, because it's like, you know,
Mains?
yeah, mains.
Oh, okay.
Like 5 to 10 mains, I think, is like the good middle ground, because it's like, you know, those 5 to 10 mains are
Yeah.
gonna slap.
We went to another Italian place that was really good, around the
Yeah.
same price, and it was amazing.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
so good. And
Oh
it
yeah,
was-
the one we went to with Ludwig.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That
and
was
it was,
awesome.
I think it was around the same prices for like everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, okay. Well, so it isn't just like I'm being cheap. It's like, no, these are the same prices. We just got ripped off in this one place.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's how it
exactly.
is. And that made me understand more, like, when I went to more independent restaurants and more coffee places, a lot of the time I kind of understand why a lot of people just want that familiarity of a chain where you know what you get. Because
Yeah.
it's such a gamble in the US.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Well, it's a gamble everywhere.
yeah, but like in Japan, you
You got
could
to
go
be pretty unlucky in
I don't know,
Japan.
like, you talk about the US being a gamble. Let's talk about the fucking UK.
Yeah, the UK's the same. This is the same though. This is why like restaurants in the UK, like and cafes, like a lot of the independent ones struggle
Yeah.
because a lot of people just don't like, they want that familiarity.
Right.
Yeah.
And they want, like, you know, when you go to a fucking Wendy's, you know exactly what you're getting.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whereas if I go out of my way, I take a date, I pay a shit ton of money, and I get half-ass meal pasta, I'm like, fuck, I should have just gone to Olive Garden. Like, I know what I would have got.
yeah.
Yeah, because we talked about the US having like the 4.5 Google reviews kind of meta. The UK just doesn't have a meta when it comes to Google reviews. You just like, people in the UK don't know how to review food. That's just the end all be all.
The water was not spicy. 5 stars.
Because I've been to restaurants in the UK that's like 4.7, 4.8. I'm like, okay, this place must absolutely slap, and it's awful. I've been there. And it's like there are some places that are absolutely
Can't come
awful.
in like the Ratatouille critic. Just like, I'm about to end this restaurant's career. Hold my pen.
To be fair, I've like in recent years, especially this trip, I have discovered way more decent restaurants in the UK that I did than before I moved out of the UK.
Right.
I think the UK have just definitely upped their restaurant game.
Yeah, because I don't know what you experienced beforehand, but this was the first time for me that I properly explored London and like the food culture surrounding it. I'm like, why are people complaining about it? This is actually pretty decent. Maybe I just got lucky. I don't know, but
Yeah, I mean, we just steal other people's food, and that's good.
I mean, Australia kind of does the same thing
Yeah,
as well.
I mean,
so-
we don't have like a cuisine. It's like, what do you want? Like, there's probably someone here who makes it. Like,
Sure.
do you want like New Zealand rat? I'm sure someone makes it. I'm sure someone makes
Yes,
it.
the staple Kiwi food.
I don't know what they fucking eat in New Zealand. What they got over there?
Probably not rat.
Lamb.
Yeah, lamb.
You got a lot of damn whales.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I remember when we went to the UK, I think Maylin landed, and I think 2 days after she landed, she'd had like 4 meals, and she'd messaged me being like, in all caps, "Do reviews not mean anything here? How do you know who to trust? How do you know which Google review to trust?" And I was like,
do you review things?
I don't review things.
I review things.
Really?
Or I never even looked at Google reviews before I moved to Japan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Right.
me neither.
Because
I just looked at something and I'm just like, oh, that looks. I just look at a couple of photos. I'm like, yeah, that looks good. And
Yeah.
I just go.
I review things. I feel like people like me are keeping society together. Without me, there won't be. So it's chaos. How will anyone know what to eat?
did you always review though?
Oh, yeah, I've been doing it for a long time.
Okay, so before you moved to Japan.
Yeah, before I moved to Japan. I was
Because
doing it.
like I understand the culture here because you review something, it means something here.
Yeah.
You throw a review in the UK Google reviews, it's just like a message. You throw a fucking message in a bottle into the sea. Like it's not going to reach anyone, man.
It's like a message in Dark Souls.
I-
It doesn't mean anything.
I am guilty though of the whole 5-star or 1-star meta. I am guilty of that.
Wait, what do you mean?
I'm either a 5-star guy or a 1-star guy. There's
You've
no,
never rated anything 3 stars?
No, I have. I just like in my head, if something's 3, a lot of the time I want to go back and confirm it's a 3.
Yeah.
But
Right.
also, why would I want to go back if it's a 3?
Because you're kind of indifferent to it, right?
Yeah, because I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
And like some places, like a lot of the times I've gone to restaurants, I've ordered one thing and I'm like, and then for some reason I've gone back and I've got a different dish and I'm like, oh, this is so much better, this dish. Like I just happen to get the dish that they do poorly.
Right.
You could argue that that's like reflective on them and that they shouldn't put it on the menu if it's bad or whatever. But I feel like it can vary so much. Whereas like if you have a 5-star time, you're like, everything was perfect. Meal was amazing. Staff were amazing. Ambiance, everything was amazing. I'm like, all right, well, 5 stars. Where on the inverse side, where it's like, if it was all shit, I knew it was all shit.
Right.
Which is terrible.
Right. So you just never go back, yeah.
So I never go back and I
Yeah.
give it 1 stars.
Right.
But a lot of the times, the places I go to in Japan are just purely off recommendations.
Yeah.
So I kind of normally go to places that I've always really liked. I have not gone to many places that I haven't enjoyed in Japan.
Yeah.
Because everyone is always like, this is my favorite restaurant. So I go to it because I'm like, oh, it must be pretty good.
I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, word of mouth, I think, is the most effective way of finding
Oh,
new
dude,
shit.
yeah,
you know?
definitely.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
some places in Japan aren't even on Google reviews, or they're not on it if you just search restaurants near me or something like that, or
Yeah.
X kind of restaurant I'm looking for. Sometimes you have to like really, really look, and that's why word of mouth means so much here in Japanese food culture.
Yep.
Because people follow what other people say, and if you see a huge line at a Japanese restaurant, you know that shit fucking slaps. Even though I never think it's worth waiting an hour for any meal in my life.
Sure.
Fuck
Like,
that.
Yeah.
I'll go to McDonald's. I'm not waiting an hour. I'll wait an hour inside the restaurant drinking. I'm not waiting an hour outside the restaurant.
Not in the line.
Especially
yeah.
in this heat in Japan, bro.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
It's not worth it.
Fuck that.
What's like your limit of waiting?
What, outside of a restaurant?
Yeah.
20 minutes tops. I'm not doing more than
Yeah,
that.
for me, it's like no more than 30.
Yeah, I think 30-minute is the absolute limit.
It
for
really
me as well.
depends. Like,
Yeah.
okay, if we have like 20 people and they say 30 minutes, I'm like,
Yeah.
we're waiting 30 minutes because
Yeah.
we're not going to find somewhere else. So
Yeah.
it's like, but if it's just me and someone else, 20 minutes tops.
Yeah.
And it's got to be a restaurant I know.
Sure.
Otherwise, I'm like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it could just be a huge waste of time and the food is kind of mediocre. right?
Yeah, I'd rather just go somewhere. If you're in an area where there's a bunch of restaurants nearby, I'd rather just go somewhere else.
Just an empty
Yeah,
one.
just
Yeah.
see what
That's
else
true.
is nearby.
That's true.
Yeah. One small thing that annoyed me in some of the restaurants we found in LA was that, sometimes we were in a group, we wanted to go out, have a nice meal together. All right, let's phone up the restaurant and book a table. You phone up the restaurant, they're like, we don't do bookings. You
Yeah, it's like a thing in LA, right?
turn up in the door. And I'm just like, why? Why?
Yeah, a lot of the
Yeah.
restaurants we went to wouldn't accept
I
reservations.
never understood why that's the case. Is it so to avoid people flaking out?
I think there must be some math behind it where someone has worked out that you can make more money and get more customers in the door by doing it just turn up.
Right.
Because if they're full and you can't reserve, then you're not going to show up. But maybe
Yeah.
you want to go, maybe they can squeeze you in if there's two of you, right? I feel like for the restaurants that are in really high demand, it must make more money.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you can get more customers in.
Yeah.
And people are willing to wait 20, 15 minutes at the door.
Right.
So I feel for like what was it, like Sugarfish or whatever?
Sugarfish was one of them. There was
I mean, the Italian restaurant we went to.
the first
whatever.
Italian restaurant we went to before we found the other Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
That was the big
Because
downgrade.
also when you go one day and you can't get in, you're like, I should come back again because clearly it's good. Everyone's waiting. And to be fair, the restaurants where I did have to wait were pretty damn good. I feel like it's a strategy to just make more money, and also you don't have to deal with reservations not showing up
Yeah, I think that makes more sense to me than
because you lose money, right? If you
Yeah.
reserve a table and they don't
Yeah.
show up, or they show up 20 minutes late, or 15 minutes late, or they show up 20 minutes early, and you're like, it's not ready.
Basically, they've just min-maxed restaurants, right?
Yeah.
But
But you know, when there's a group of like 4 or more,
Yeah.
reserving is like amazing because it's like we know that we can turn up at this time and we'll be good. And Japan's great for that.
That's why I love Japan. Yeah, because you
Yeah.
can reserve any or most places
Well,
except for a Denny's. Apparently,
it's not even Japan. In most places in the world I've been to, there's most restaurants do reservations, and to like okay. Let me rephrase that. I've never seen this system anywhere outside of LA. Have you ever seen it anywhere outside of LA?
I'm sure it's in like New York and places like that.
you call
but
them
yeah.
up and they say no reservations.
Yeah, there's places that just don't take reservations.
Well, other than
and only do walk-ins.
fucking McDonald's, not really. No.
the restaurant meter, McDonald's, every other restaurant,
Hey,
LA restaurants.
McDonald's is a restaurant, all right? It's a restaurant. It's a family restaurant for families.
I guess so, yeah. Because throwing it back to the time we tried to reserve for 7 people at a
Exactly,
Denny's
at
nearby, and they were
Denny's,
like,
yeah.
"We don't take reservations, just show up, please." And we're like, "Oh yeah, that makes
Damn
sense."
it, we'll pay.
We really want that Denny's though.
We needed that reservation.
Yeah.
Yeah.